Right. Nori, it's good to have you on the podcast. How you doing?
I am amazing, Adam. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. It's great to have you on. And I thought I'd just kind of introduce you and kind of, kind of go into how you kind of got into what you do because you're very much into fitness and personal development, and you're the CEO of Fitness by Nori, which is on your jumper, which is really cool.
Yes.
How did you
Thank
kind
you.
of, how did it kind of start for you in like your kind of story and your kind of experiences to kind of get into this like field?
Cool. So I got into fitness because sadly I went through a really tough time in my life. I went through a divorce in 2016 and I gained a lot of weight. But what's interesting is when we're gaining weight, we don't really know or pay attention to the fact that we're gaining weight, right? And so I was still walking around in my jeans and I'm still thinking I'm fine and stuff like that. And what's crazy is I have two sisters and they just did not have the heart to break my heart, right? By telling me, like, girl, you've gotten heavy. What is going on? But they knew that I was, dealing with a hard time or whatever. And so they were trying to do things to help me, right? And what is the number one thing that we do when we're trying to comfort ourselves and things like that? We go and eat. And so anytime we get together and the girls get together, we go eat and we go and have a drink and stuff like that. And so that was comforting to me at the time. And so I didn't know that I had gained so much weight. And so um, ironically, my girlfriend and I were out to eat and we we ran into a friend of hers that was a actual fitness trainer, and he had a workout class. And so she was telling me about this class and how tough his class was and everything. And me and my cockiness, I was just like, oh, that class is nothing, whatever. And so he, tapped me on my shoulder and he asked for my phone number. And I'm just like, why would he ask me for my phone number or whatever? And so just willy-nilly, I just gave it to him. And so we went back to talking about the class. And she was like, girl, this class is so tough and this and that. And I was like, girl, whatever, just our normal talk, right? And so he tapped me again and he said, did you get what I just sent you? And I said, no. And so I picked up my phone and I looked at it and I was like, waiver. And I was like, wait a minute, your class is so difficult that we have to have a waiver. Like, I'm not coming to your class to die. I want to have fun, right? And so we all laughed about it or whatever. Needless to say, make a long story short, I went to the class the next morning, which was a Saturday morning. I got hooked in the first 3 months. I had lost 41 pounds. And it was just from there, it was over. I was like, this is it. Fitness changed my life. I started to realize and look back over my life, and I realized that when things got hard, I would work out. And I never realized that when things were really difficult for me in the military, I would go for a run. When things were really tough for me in school, I would play, volleyball, or I would go and run, because I ran track and stuff like that. And so it was funny how I was like, wow, fitness is what did it for me all these years, you know. And so what I did was I continued to work out. I continued to see my body develop and things like that. The muscles started coming in. And when the muscles come in, that's a whole different something else, right? I ended up launching Fitness by Nori, and started helping other people that was in my same situation, because really it goes beyond the physical part of fitness. It really goes beyond the vanity, right? It's really a mental thing. And fitness helps open the body up. It frees the body, the endorphins and the oxygen that pushes through when you're working out. It allows you to think freely and it allows you to align things again. And so that's what I work with my clients on, as far as the way that they're thinking about a particular thing and stuff like that. And so that's how I got into fitness, took off, and everything is just amazing at this point.
That's awesome. I really, commend you for what you've done, and like, being
Thank
able
you.
to, no, you're welcome, and to, be able to change that around and kind of shift, your life. And I think, as you mentioned, like when we go through difficult times, or a breakup or something happens, sometimes we can resort to, you know say drinking or eating, and things like this for
Right,
comfort. And like, sometimes we don't notice that, if you get into those patterns and ways of life, you're kind of blinded by it. And you did this fitness class and you noticed that shift, and I think it's just, you just decided just to go, and just test it out.
right.
And there's so many benefits to exercise, but I think it's great that, you've been able to kind of use your experience and to, decide to shift your life. And now you're helping other people do the same. And you realize the benefits of exercise. And I think there's so many benefits to exercise, personal growth. I mean, it all kind of interlinks to, your well-being, your mental state, and everything else.
Correct. I mean, and I mean, let's just be honest. When you look good, you feel good.
Mm,
When you're looking good, you start to think about things differently. It lifts your self-confidence, your self-esteem. And so when you start feeling better about yourself, you start to think better about yourself, and you start to say, no, I don't deserve this, or I deserve to be here, or you look at things differently, and you actually feel like that you can be in these particular spaces, or you can do this particular thing. But when you're down on yourself and you're feeling low, then of course you can't think yourself clearly. When you're down and you're low and you're eating food for comfort versus eating the food that would switch on your brain, then of course you're not going to think of the positive things that would help you out of a situation. you
mm.
know and that's something that I talk about on my radio show too. I do a radio show on Fridays
Yeah.
at GFN Radio Soul. And what we talk about is just everything fitness. Fitness is in every area of my life.
Mm,
Fitness is a lifestyle. And when I say every area of my life, I mean mental fitness, physical fitness,
mm.
parental fitness. I don't have any children at this point, but I talk to parents about their children and how you have to stay fit and stuff in order to take care of your children,
Mm.
in all areas of your life. So fitness is very, very important for so many obvious reasons, but
Mm.
it I'm not going to negate the fact that it's difficult when you first
Yeah.
start. It is. Go ahead.
Mm. Yeah, no, I was just thinking, like, he said it's difficult. Like, what would you say when you say you have your clients? How do you kind of bed them in, so to speak, to like start out?
So when my clients come to me, a lot of times the first thing they'll say is, "Can I look like you?" And I'll say, I'll say, "Sure you can." Sure you can. But I let them know what that means. And I'll say, it was many nights that, I just fell asleep like hungry because, you beat the body down or whatever. And so I go to explain to them what it is in order to achieve this. When you're working out, you're tearing your muscles. And I use the analogy of a piece of paper. I said, you're literally tearing your muscles. And as you sleep and get rest and you give your body the proper nutrition, it's building that back up. And as you give it the weight, it gives it the resistance it needs in order to make it bigger, whatever. And I speak to them from an analogy of like a callus. If you continue to scratch the scab off of a sore, it'll make a callus, right? And so it makes it harder. And so I just try to explain it to them in different ways where they would understand it. And so I let them know that it's really, really hard. And it's hard because mentally you're telling yourself it's hard,
Mm.
because the body can do way more, far more than you ever thought it could do. The body will keep going. Your mind stops before your body does. Your mind tells you that leg hurts. Your mind tells you, oh, something doesn't feel right. Your body will keep doing what your body is like the limbs and everything on a tree.
Mm,
right? Your brain is more like the foundation, the root, right? The trunk and everything. And so that's where it gets its nourishment and its understanding and everything, and it goes up to the through the tree into the branches and all of that, right? So if your brain is where everything is and your mind is telling you that these limbs can't move and that these limbs hurt and everything, then it's going to stop. So
mm,
you have to train your mind. Working out is more of a mental thing than
mm,
anything. And if you do not have mental resilience, you're not going to push past that 21 or 30 days. You're not
mm,
going to do it. And so a lot of times, trainers, they do, 21-day challenges or 30-day challenges and stuff like that, because it's habit forming. Once you form that habit, it's different. But the one thing I tell my clients is, if you find something in fitness that you like, it makes it a whole lot different. It makes it a
mm,
whole lot better. So, you have some that do Zumba. You have some that does, HIIT training, they just
mm,
want that hardcore. Some people go to, the gym where they're flipping the tires and they're throwing up massive amounts of weight. Like, you just find what it is that
mm,
you like to do. And once you like to do it, you build a community around it, because it's people there that likes to do it, too.
mm,
And they may be going for the same reasons. And so you guys become friends. And now you have an accountability partner and they're
mm,
looking for you to be here today. So it
mm.
all plays a part. So I
Yeah.
don't mean to rattle, but I
No,
love
no.
fitness, so I can just keep going.
No, it's great. I think it's great what you're doing, and I think it's great that you're passionate about something and you're making a positive difference to other people's lives, and giving back, and you're developing yourself and you're developing other people, and it's all about kind of doing what you got to do, but helping other people in that process of helping them to do the same kind of thing, like mentoring them and pushing them to do it.
Yes.
It's so important, and there's no kind of boundaries to it, is there? Like age and your mindset, and it's like you said, your body, your mind's powerful, and it's just tapping and pushing through those motions, isn't it? Um,
Right.
because we're like kind of conditioned to kind of run away from things that like hurt us or harm us and that kind of thing. So that pain, it doesn't, it's not as impactful, over time, because like you said, your body develops the habits and gets used to it.
Correct. It's a thing called muscle memory, and your muscles will remember, like, even when you stop working out for a minute and you start back working out, you will find yourself that first few days, you're like out of breath, or you're like tough, it's tough for you to push through. But after that, you're like, oh, I got this, because your muscles remember, and so you just push through and just get the job done. Mentally, whatever you tell yourself, that's what's going to happen. And I can't remember what speaker it is, but the speaker says, if you tell yourself you can do it or you can't do it, both of them are right. And so I'm like, that is so, so true. You can go in, I can go in right now and say, I cannot lift, 300 pounds, but I can go in and work towards lifting 300 pounds.
Mm,
I can start off at, 135. I can get up to, 200, and 5. Like, you can go in and work towards it. And eventually you will be able to hit 300 pounds. But if you say you would never be able to do it, no, you won't, because you'll
mm,
never work towards it.
yeah.
Work towards it. If you work towards it, you can achieve anything.
No, that's a really good point. And I think when you mentioned that, like, kind of ties into like delayed gratification almost. And I think people want results straight away. And like, I see these commercials sometimes, like, or on YouTube, get abs in like 3 weeks or something like that. And it's like, there's all these like the shortcuts that people kind of want to cut through sometimes. It's like, if you want those results, it doesn't work like that. It's that long term goal and gain. And I think like sometimes people, I mean, have you noticed people sometimes might struggle or sometimes probably quit because they want it like straight away, and it takes time to build
Absolutely.
up.
Absolutely. I mean, in this microwave society, of course, everything we want everything like yesterday, and that's just not possible, especially with all of the, and I'm not downplaying or talking about anyone,
No.
but especially with all the surgeries and, you know, things that where you can have it so quickly, right? People want to just go and do that, you know, they'll go under the knife and then they're like, okay, I'm fine right now. Well, that's okay, but what you need to understand is you still have to work out, because
Mm,
fat is still fat. It will
mm,
still grow. It will still,
mm,
you know, and some people say, I'm getting a fat transfer. You're just moving the fat from one area to another area, and that fat is going to grow in that area. And then you're going to be overweight in that particular area. You still need to work out, you know, in order to maintain. It doesn't have to be hardcore now that you set everything up the way that you set it up,
mm,
but you
mm.
still need to maintain it. And working out is what's going to do it.
Yeah. And you feel like, it's your diet as well that goes with that, like having a balanced diet and things like that. And I mean, a lot of people say, like, drink a lot of water. Water's important because, your body's, I don't know the percentage, but, a lot of your body is water really as well.
Correct. So our bodies are comprised of 60% water, and majority of that 60% houses the brain.
Mm,
And so a lot of times when you're getting all foggy brained and you're not able to think of things, and I was supposed to go over here and do this, but what was that? It's because you may not you may not be drinking enough water in order to release the toxins and flush things out.
mm,
So yes, water is very important. Nutrition is 85% of a balanced body.
mm.
Working out is only 15%. Okay, 85% of it
Wow.
is what you eat, you know.
Wow.
And I tell my clients, this is what I tell them, and I know people are going to use this after this, right? I tell them, you cannot outrun your fork. You cannot outrun your fork. So if you're sitting up eating 3, 4, 5 times a day, and then you go and jump on a treadmill and try to run on this treadmill for an hour or two, you're going to kill yourself. You're not
Mm,
going to be able to, you're not going to lose weight today.
mm,
You're not
mm.
going to lose all that weight today. So balance out the meals that you're eating, eat the proper nutrition, things that will help you get to your goal. And I
Mm,
always say, eat lean protein and
mm,
clean veggies. And what I
mm.
mean by that is lean protein, of course, that's common sense eating, like your chicken and your turkeys, your fish. I try to keep my clients away from the porks and the beef, only
Yeah.
because the beef sits in the body for so long before it starts to break down. And so if you're going to do beef, I tell them to do it, you know, once a week or something.
Mm,
I try to keep them away from pork altogether because
mm.
of the molecular structure of pork and what's in it, and it affects our bodies as well, from a
Yeah.
cellular level. And so I just try to keep them away from pork and stuff altogether. But the lean chickens and turkeys and
Mm,
fish and stuff like that. And then what I mean by clean veggies, I would prefer if you use veggies that were fresh,
mm,
but the frozen is number 2. And if you just don't have anything else, then canned veggies is okay. You want to try
mm.
to rinse them. It has a lot of sodium, but if you are working out, then sodium, you know, can be good for the body. You know,
Yeah.
but that's what I tell them. Try to stay away from all of the dips and the sauces and the cheeses and the, you know, because all of those, yes, it tastes really, really good, right? But it's those little extra calories that you wouldn't even think, you know,
Mm.
that, oh, I got some, one of my clients said they got some cream spinach. I got cream spinach. Spinach is a vegetable, right? It's good. I said, yeah,
Mm.
but it's the cream cheese that's the
Yeah.
problem, you know? So yeah, just being mindful. And in my VIP program, one of the things that I do with my clients is I take them to eat and stuff like that on different occasions. You know, if they're going through something and they reach out and call me or whatever, and I'll say, well, hey, meet me over here, let's go and eat or whatever, or meet me over here and let's have a drink. And so
Mm.
I want to see where they are mentally while you're going through your issues? Or are you going to pick a, drink like a pina colada with all of this sugar, a swamp
Mm,
thing, an alcoholic beverage? Like, are you going to pick that? Or are you going to still stick with your water, with your lemon? Or are you going to, choose something like a tea or something like that? What are you eating when you're stressed? Are you eating breads and stuff like that? Or are you going to still stay with your lean protein, clean vegetables? So
mm,
I go out and eat with them and different stuff like that. So I can try to teach them to change their mind about when they're in different
mm.
situations and stuff. And so I really get involved with my clients because I really, really want them to be successful. I know how it
Yeah,
is to have a good life. So, and to
yeah,
be happy with where you are. So I get it, I get involved.
yeah. That's love. That's really nice, and I think like as well, it's so important to to know where to start and like to really kind of take it seriously, to revise it, because people investing money into it, their time, their energy, and if they want the full benefit of it, then they need to know like what a good diet is, and the right foods to eat, and the nutrients and the supplements, because I think sometimes people just go and work out and they don't really, they're just eating whatever, and they think they can work out, and they're not kind of making that fast progress, if that makes sense, or probably the efficient progress that they could be if they were having like a balanced diet. So I think it's good that you kind of have that personal relationship with them, and you can kind of get to know stresses, and what they eat, and habits, and because like they could work out and put all this work in and then eat something that isn't good for them, and then it's like, I don't know if it's undoing it, or probably it's not having a good effect. So I think it's nice that you care. I think that's one of the things that will gravitate people towards you, because you care about it and you want to help them. You have a genuine interest.
I do. I really do. I'm gonna make you privy to one of
Yeah.
to one of the conversations I had with one of my clients. So we were working out, and this is one of my VIP clients. We were working out, and he was, his form was off, and I was like, no, I need you to stop, and I need you to take a breather, and then go ahead and correct your form and start over. And then he was just shaking his head no, and he was shaking his head no. And so I said, okay, put the weights down. What's going on? What's going on mentally? Because think about this, we're not just gonna power through a workout. When you're
Mm,
working out, you're stressing the body too. So you have to be careful when your amount of stress. You have to be careful about stress, because stress does what? It raises the cortisol level. The cortisol level causes us to, it's a stress hormone, and it causes us to gain weight. So it's not, you could have an adverse effect when you're stressing the body out. So I said, hey, put the weights down. What's going on? And he was just shaking his head. And I was like, are you having, like, did something happen? What's going on? And come to find out, he had lost a really good friend, right? And so I was like, okay, so what did, and then he said something about he was having stomach issues. So I said, wait a minute. So what did you eat? I only had this. Well, what did you eat the day before that? And then all I had was a small bag of popcorn. And then, okay, no problem. So what did you do when you got home? And so it's like I started asking these questions. We'll come to find out popcorn played a big role in this issue, right? And
mm.
so I said, and so I said, okay, wait a minute. So think about it. Popcorn is a form of corn, right? Corn is what? A form of sugar. So it
Yeah.
throws the body off. So we just have to think about what food and stuff does to the body. So he's so adamant about getting to his goal. You have to know your client. So he's so adamant about getting to his goal that I knew that if I said something about his weight, that
Mm,
it would affect him. So what I said was, okay, so you're going to eat popcorn. That's going to affect all the work that you've done. I didn't do it. You did this. So
mm.
you did this work. And you're going to, I pulled down my scale, get on this scale. And here I go. I'm going home. Get on this scale. Because you the one, if you messed up your weight, like, we gonna have a problem. And so when he stood on the scale, he had actually lost weight. And afterwards, he said, when he got ready to leave, he said, you know what? You're a small woman, but you really had me nervous. Like, but it's all a part of it. I'm here. You employ me to ensure that you get the goals that you're wanting. And I'm going to always stick to the business. I'm going to always stick to the results. This is what you want. I'm going to make sure I do everything in my power for you to get it, because I know how it feels once you achieve it. I do. It changed my life.
That's really awesome. And I think, like, you know, by kind of getting, you know, him to identify what it was, and in highlighting that in a way, so Daisy, for him to change, you know, to really think about, you know, what's going on, and for him to address, you know, what was happening. I think that's
Mhm.
that's so key. And I think, let me put this phone on here.
You're fine.
Makes it
Because a
makes
lot of
makes
times, you can go ahead and fix that, Adam. That's fine. Because a lot of times we don't think about the different things that would affect us. We're just thinking about, we're trying to power through the issue at the time. And so when when we grab something and we eat it and it throws our diet off and stuff like that, I'm a different type of trainer. I don't say, don't eat this and don't eat that. I say, how is that going to affect you? I mean, and if you want to eat it, then go ahead. If it's going to blow your diet, and you've done all of this hard work for nothing, it's on you. Because it's more of a mental thing than anything. I'm not going to be there at 2:00 in the morning. I'm not going to be there. You can call me. I make myself accessible to my VIP clients. You can call me at 2 or 3:00 in the morning, and I'm here for you. But I'm not going to be there. So I tell you how to work through it. One of my fit tips was, eat the snack. Just eat the snack. Don't overindulge or whatever, but eat the one cookie. Take a bite off the candy bar so you can knock the edge off, so you don't stress the body out. Because once you stress, your cortisol raised. So it's like, you have to keep that good balance of things and make sure that you're achieving the goals that you want. So you have to eat for success. Eating your food, your nutrition is 85% of it.
Yeah, that's it. And I feel like as well, like, you know, having that person to hold you accountable for what you're doing is really key. And
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, working towards goals, and sometimes, like, if it's just ourselves, then we can kind of sometimes, you know, we might go off kind of course a little bit sometimes. You know, to have someone
Mhm.
say, you need to do this, you know, come on, have you done X, Y,
Right.
Z? You know, it kind of,
Right.
you kind of have to keep yourself in check, because you don't want to disappoint them or yourself. You know, you want to get to
Right.
it.
Well, that's another good point, Adam. Like, you want to ensure that you are not out of integrity with self. And again, I'm not going to be there at 2 or 3:00 in the morning. So you could technically, right? You could do whatever you wanted to do, but you need to hold yourself accountable in those times when it gets really tough. And that's some of the work that we do on the VIP side. We do a lot of the mental work so that you can hold yourself accountable and you can have that mental resilience and stuff like that in order to push through. And when daylight comes and somebody comes for you, kind of like the military, right? You have to have that strong mind so you can sit in the bushes and stuff for hours at a time and wait in order to achieve the goal that you're set out to do and things of that nature. And then when morning comes and someone gets you or relieve you of your post so that you can take a nap, then you can do that. You have to have that strong mental resilience.
That's it. And I think, like, as you mentioned, like, you know, fitness and, you know, that resilience, it all kind of interlinks into, like, different parts of your life. And especially, you know, if you're in business, or, you know, you're working, all of these things kind of interplay in what you're doing. And it's like, if you're not effective in your health and your mindset, that could possibly link into, you know, your personal life, your business, and everything else. So, like, you know, to be kind of on in a good emotional state, in a good form, it all is going to benefit you, you know, probably in what you're doing as well. So it all kind of like interlinks, doesn't it?
Correct. All of it is linked together. And again, I would help clients do whatever it is that they want to do, but I really don't like when clients are trying to get to an event, right? I really want to work out for this event, or my 50th birthday is coming up. or whatever, you know. And by the way, I train anyone from high school students on up, you know. My oldest client right now is, I believe she's 61. My youngest client is 16. And so I train in between male and female, right? And so I don't like to train for events, because fitness is not an event. Your health
Mm,
is not an event. Your health is a lifestyle. So
mm,
you need to work out or train or eat and everything every day. It needs to be a lifestyle. And you
mm,
need to look at fitness like you would eating, because you need it for nutrients, like you need water to help the body. You need to look at fitness in the same way, like you have to use the restroom, you know,
mm,
every day. You need to work out every day. I don't care if that's taking a stroll, you know,
mm,
just walking, taking a light jog. If you're sitting down doing deep, intentional breathing, you need to do these things every
mm.
day in order to help you with your life.
Yeah, that's it. I really believe in what you're saying, and I think, like for me, if I notice it in myself if I don't, you know, like if I don't do it,
Absolutely.
you kind of have like a, it's like a, how can I say it? It's
You're
like a
missing something.
yeah, it's like a monitoring almost. And it's like, I don't, you know, I need to do X, Y, Z because it doesn't feel right, you know, that kind of thing.
Right,
And like you said, you can go for a walk, you can go for a stroll, you know, it doesn't have to be high intense exercise every day. You can kind of mix it up as well.
right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think it's really important. And I was just thinking, like, do you have any like role models or mentors you look up to, like friends, family, or anyone kind of in the limelight, or you know, anyone you kind of look up to?
I do. Actually, my grandmother is someone that I look up to. My grandmother is now deceased, but from the time that I've known her, my grandmother has always been so strong, and she's
Mm,
always worked so hard to make
mm,
sure that we had everything that we needed. A little bit about my background is, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, she legally adopted me and raised me, because I was, you know, going through another painful time in my life as a youth. I was being abused, and so my grandmother adopted me.
mm,
And from the time that I've known her, she just worked so diligently just to make sure. It was times that we didn't have, right? You know, we
mm,
grew up really poor, but it was times that we didn't have, but we didn't know. I remember
yeah,
I was sitting there thinking, I remember doing homework one time to candlelight, you know, because we
yeah,
didn't have electricity. But my grandmother never made it seem like that things were bad. She was always positive, and that goes back to that mental resilience. Like, she was so positive about the
mm,
thing that you're just like, as a kid, you're thinking everything is okay, you know.
yeah,
um I've never, but one time I remember as I got older or whatever, I only seen her cry one time. And I was
mm,
just like, wow, that was a shocker, right? I didn't think that she had those types of emotions. But my grandmother is she was someone that was so strong, and I looked up to her, and I
mm,
look at the lessons and stuff that she taught us now. Um, from a physical perspective, someone that's still here right now from physical fitness, I look up, research, look into Donna Richardson, just to think of
mm,
the things that she did with the buns of steel, and how she made millions, and things changed from a fitness perspective. I look up to her. I look into, that's one of my mentors from afar. You know, I look at her and stuff. So yeah.
yeah. No, that's really, it's really important, isn't it, you know, to have, you know, mentors and role models. And I think, you know, for like to be around, you know, such an amazing woman like, you know, your grandma, you know, to kind of learn those lessons and you know, to go, you know, to go through, you know, difficult times. And then, you know, as a kid, you mentioned like, you know, the candlelight and the electricity, and you know, like it's that perspective, isn't it? It gives you that perspective, and you know, you can really take a lot from that. You know,
Yeah.
it's there's definitely a silver lining there. And like I was just thinking as well, do you have any kind of like favorite books that you like to read or anything like that?
I do. I do. Adam, I'm gonna pop back to that
Yeah.
question again. One of the people that I listen to from a mentor standpoint, or
Mm.
a motivational speaking standpoint, is Eric Thomas. Eric
Yes, he's
Thomas
good.
is when I say that man, I want to be a speaker one day, right? And I want to speak to masses of people. And he just lets me know that you don't have to be in a box and speak all nice and prim and proper. You can be yourself. And that's the type of girl that I am. So when I'm in my workout classes and stuff like that, and I'm cheering everybody on and I'm hyping everybody up and I'm just yelling and screaming and I'm hoarse 90% of the time, right? So but I know that I had this interview, right? And so I know that I have to like preserve my voice, right? So I had to keep it together last night, especially at the bowling alley, right? But but when I listen to him, I'm like, oh my God, that's the type of speaking that I desire to do. I don't want to have to keep everything nice and proper. I want people to actually, I don't want to just encourage and motivate and inspire them. I want them to get up and do something. I don't want them to feel good for the moment. I want them to take that feel good feeling and actually go and activate themselves and do something, you know? And so, Eric Thomas and Bishop Jakes are people that just really just I just don't know. They just the way that they just come off so effortlessly because they show up as themselves. Like I love that. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
when you were talking about books or whatever, one of the actually it's by the same person. Two of the books, excuse me, it's by Caroline Leaf, Dr. Caroline Leaf. And she talks about the brain a lot. One of the books that I read is Think and Eat Yourself Smart. Can you see
That's
that?
cool.
Think and Eat Yourself Smart. And it's talking about the different foods and stuff that you eat that would help you from a neuro standpoint. Another one of her books that I read is Switch on Your Brain. Switch on your brain, and it's different things that you can do in order to make your brain like just stay so alert and things of that nature. But the one that I really focus in on, like I said, both of those books are about the same person, Dr. Caroline Leaf, but the one that I focus in on a whole lot is the one Think and Eat Yourself Smart, because we don't understand how food and water plays an important part of our mental processing. We just don't get it.
Yeah, no, they're amazing books, and I think it's so important, like you said, to read and to read. I mean, people can read different books, but I mean, to read these kind of books because we've all got our own diet, we've all got our own mindset, and I think to be able to read those kind of books to learn about how to apply that to your life as well is great.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I think that we overlook the mental aspect of our life because we're just always up and on the go, right? So I think that we really overlook the mental, and the mental is the most important. Mindset work, the way that you can change your life is by changing your mind. All of these different things, and now that's like a huge push nowadays. The mindset coaches and things of that nature, because everything starts in the mind. When I started doing the radio show, the whole month of January, that whole radio show every week was on the mind, mental fitness, and I talked about it and I honed in on it because I wanted to kind of beat that dead horse, if you will, because I wanted you to understand that everything starts in the mind. And that means, what you're feeding your mind from a nutritional standpoint, but also what you're feeding your mind in forms of TV shows and books and podcasts and inspirational speakers and stuff like that. What are you feeding your mind? It's very important. And that what you're getting inside, it'll come out, it'll show in your everyday life, it'll show in your fitness of the physical part of your body, it'll show in every area of your life.
Yeah, that's it. And it all kind of, how you are and what you manifest. It's all, what you consume, isn't it? And what you kind of become, isn't it? And all, the people you surround yourself with, I think as well, like you mentioned, like, all these different things all kind of,
Absolutely.
interlink. And, your energy, it's important to know, notice what it is that you're consuming, isn't it? And
Correct.
I was thinking, have you noticed, like in your work and in health and fitness and personal development, like a difference, with COVID? Do you think with COVID, people are more mindful of, their well-being now? Do you think you notice like a shift, do you think?
So I've noticed a little bit of both. So at the beginning, right, everyone was like, "Oh, I can't go to the gym," so it was more like an excuse, right? Then all of a sudden came this thing called the pandemic weight or whatever. Like I got this, COVID weight or whatever because you're laying around on the couch and you're looking at TV and all day, or you're playing video games and you're eating snacks and things of that nature, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got this pandemic weight and I can't work out. Well, no, what COVID says is that you cannot be within 6 feet of each other and you want to wear your mask and you don't want to be talking in each other's space or whatever and things of that nature. It never said that you couldn't get out and walk at the park. And if you pass each other and say hello, that everything is going to be okay because you're
Mm.
not standing within someone's space for 15 minutes, right? So it's just looking at it in a different way. But you find those people, like myself and my clients or whatever, we were pushing through COVID. You know,
Mm.
one of my VIP clients has lost it in COVID towards the end because I launched Fitness Minority in November, and the VIP program took off. My client, one of my VIP clients, during that particular month of December, lost 15 pounds. And so that's why I was like, we don't have to sit here and wait on stuff
Yeah.
just because it's COVID or whatever. You're going to wait and you're just going to keep being the same. You can do something. What I have noticed the shift in though is the online presence. There were online fitness trainers and stuff already, and those that were, making a significant effort in the online space, but now it has become huge, right? But what you find is people will say, okay, I got it. They'll talk to their coach and, okay, we're good. And they won't go and do anything.
Mm.
But with me, I'm like, nope, we're on Zoom. Let's get it. I'm going to work out with you. So let's go. So I'm a
Yeah.
different, you employ me to make sure that you get results. And I just do what I have to do in order for you to get those results.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really good. And I think like it's showing up, isn't it? Just showing up, just showing up and just doing it,
Yeah.
even if
That's the hardest thing to do,
yeah.
right? Is to get to the gym. That's the
Mm.
hardest thing to do is to get to the gym. When you get to the gym, you're going to get in the energy of everybody else. This
Mm.
person is over here running on the treadmill. This person's on the elliptical. This one is over here lifting weights. This guy over
Mm.
here is lifting this massive amount of weight, and you just have to find out where you fit in this whole
Yeah.
thing. Well, that's where I come in too. A lot
Yeah.
of people are afraid to go to the gym. They don't know what to do. They don't know about the weights and stuff like that. They don't know how to work the equipment or whatever. And they may be afraid, but I come in and help them there as well. So I'm
That's
I'm
great.
I'm a full service trainer. I want to make sure you get everything you need. So because
That's all.
I just understand how fitness, like I just understand how you feel once you get to where you're trying to go. Your
Mm.
self-confidence and the way that you feel about yourself will be through the roof. And at that point, you can do anything. So
Mm.
I just try to get you to that point. Once you get
Mm.
to that point, everything else, the sky is the limit. You'll take it yourself and run with it.
Mm. No, I love it, and I think it's great that you're doing something that you love, and you're helping other people in the process, and you're wanting to make a difference to their lives, and it must be rewarding as well. You see people shift and change and grow.
Oh my God,
Um,
yes.
you know,
Yes. Especially with like I keep talking about my VIP clients because they are the VIP. When you think about a VIP program, of course, they're the ones that's paying the most money. They're the ones that's, has the most to work on or whatever, right? So when you think about a VIP program, those people, they are in it because they want something. They're trying to get there. And so there, you know, my VIP program it's not for everybody. It's only for those clients who are ready to do the work from a mental perspective, who desires to lose 100+ pounds. So if you're going to lose 100+ pounds, you know that that's not going to happen overnight. And so those people, I mean, I give them the attention that they need. I am there because they've already had a hard time. They've already had a hard life. One of my clients was explaining to me about some of the things that he's, you know, been people say to him, you know, because he's heavy, or because he said he went to a water park and people look at him crazy because he takes off his shirt, like you shouldn't be able to take off your shirt because you're heavy or whatever. No, when I hear stories like that, oh my God, it fuels me. I'm going to get you to where you're going to go. And I want you to go back to that same pool or water park. And I want you to take off your shirt, and I want you to have muscles. And that's the person that I am. Like, no, you have a point to prove. And so I talk about my VIP program a lot, because those guys in that program, they're really working hard, and they're really, you know, they're really after it. And I'm so, so very proud of them. So I do have other programs and stuff though, but something that that's just happened because, you know, the governor is lifting the face mask ban or whatever. I just launched a workout, a fitness program where I have classes and stuff. And so we can come and be in that energy of each other, and, you know, and just love on one another and stuff like that. And they're still able to wear their mask if they want to. I will still provide paper masks and stuff like that, because it's hard to kind of breathe through the mask when you're working out, right? And the paper masks, they do kind of get wet and sweaty and stuff. So I'll have replacement masks you can put on halfway through. But the classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. and they're on Saturdays at 10 a.m. at here in Dallas at 3711 West Camp Wisdom at the TBF Studios, 3711 West Camp Wisdom at the TBF Studios. And so we're just going to have fun. We're going to rock out and just act crazy and just give each other that energy and that encouragement to do, you know, to get to that goal that they want to get to. I mean, it's nothing like helping and pushing each other to get to that goal. And the reason why these classes are so important to me, and I wanted to start these classes, is because that's where I got my start. That's what helped me. It was the energy of the women that were there. It was the energy of the trainer and stuff like that. And so I just want to give that back, you know, and let them know that they can do it. They can do it.
Yeah. No,
And
I
I
really
just
like.
want to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I really believe in what you're saying, and I think it's really nice, you know, that you in what you're doing, you know, to help other people, and you know, like you said, it's where you started, you know, and I think it's very humbling, you know, when you think about that, when you think about where you started, you know, and where you are now, and that it is possible to shift and change and grow and evolve, and you know, you're helping other people, because you know, when you've been in a certain place, you can identify that in other people, and you know, you want to help them to push through, you know, because someone's, you know, helped you do that, and I think that's, you know, that's really positive and rewarding, you know, and I think we're all here for a deeper purpose, and we're all here, you know, to have a positive impact, or you know, whatever that may be, to give back and make that difference. And I think it's really lovely what you're doing. It's really nice. And but I
Thank
just
you.
want you're welcome. And where can people find you on, like, social media and your website and, you know, your content? And you know, can people book in, you know, like nationally as well, if they want, like, you know, Zoom kind of sessions?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Adam. Yes, you can find me on Fitness by Nori on every platform. Fitness by Nori, Nori, on every platform. Yes, I do have Zoom. I do have virtual classes. If I'm here to assist in every area. If I don't have the platform in order to connect with you and you're wanting to work with me, I will create it. And that's something that my friend and business strategist, we say to each other all the time. If it's something that we want and it's not in our sphere right now, we're like, okay, we need to create that. Let's create it.
Yeah.
So if you want to work with me and you reach out to Fitness by Nori, like I said, on every platform, Facebook, Instagram, we're on Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Fitness by Nori. And like I said, with the classes, if you're here in Dallas or any of the surrounding cities, you can come to the classes Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m., Saturdays at 10 a.m. at the TBF Studios. TBF Studios is at 3711 West Camp Wisdom, 3711 West Camp Wisdom Road in Dallas.
That's awesome. That's great. And I'll definitely share all your details in the bio for people to see as well. And
Yes.
did you mention you had like a radio show as well? Like,
yes, so I do the radio show on Fridays at 12 noon.
yeah.
And it's the Mighty G Force Radio Soul. And so I always post that and everything too. So I try to give information out and try to help out. And on the radio show, we don't just talk about the physical part of fitness. We talk about every area of fitness. Like I said, we talked about the mental aspect of fitness the first month. I talked about passion and what drives you, different things like that, give different tips on how to make it through mentally. So yeah, I'm just here.
That's
I
really
just
nice.
want to serve. I just want to serve, right? And help everybody get to their goals in health and wellness.
That's great. And I think, you know, like, it's great what you're doing. And, you know, I just wish you, you know, continued success in what you're doing.
Thank you
You know, I
so
think
much, Adam.
you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. And, you know, anything that you need me to put out there, I'll put out there for you. But yeah, all the best in what you're doing. I think you're doing great work. And it's been great having you on the podcast today. It's been really great connecting.
Thank you. You've made it very, very easy.
That's good.
Thank
But
you.
you're welcome. But all the best and have a great day.
Thank you. Same to you. I am
Cheers.
your girl,
See
Miss
ya.
Butterfly Beast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm